Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.
Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Alfred Richard, movie reviewer for WWL-TV, and he covers the local movie and TV production scene for us. Welcome, Mr. Alfred.
Thank you very much, Peggy.
Hi. Poppy Tucker, host of the WWNO radio program Louisiana Eats, and hard at work on a new cookbook, right?
It's the deadline's approaching.
Oh, boy. Making his Steppin Out debut, Augustin Correro, director of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, now playing at Petit Theatre. Welcome, and we're going to have an excerpt from it a little bit later. Good to see you. Hello. And Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News. But first up, Miss Poppy.
Healthy news first. How about some of that? On Saturdays, people should know that just opened up again for the season, the Grow Dat Youth Farm Stand is open from 9 until noon, and that is all the way until June the 27th. And I would not miss this. You really must go. On Zachary Taylor Drive, which is between Pan Am Stadium and the dog park. Yeah. This is the most incredible project. It's fresh, sustainably grown veggies, herbs, and cut flowers that are all grown and sold by youth employees who are in leadership training. And they're training these kids leadership skills through the work of organic farming. So you go on Saturdays, and aside from buying delicious things from the stand, you could also get free tours of the fields, the Eco Campus, the Bayou Corridor, and all proceeds go to further their mission. And really, if you've never been, it's going to shock you because it is the most exquisite little farm right in City Park that you would never know about if you don't go hunt it out. Then parades are coming, and there are a couple of deals coming up that I wanted people to have an opportunity to book early. Zia Rotisserie Grill on St. Charles Avenue is offering great parade packages for all the parades right through Lundi Gras. It's $57 for adults, $28 for kids, big buffet, drinks, but the best part is free parking is available. One car, 4 adults in a group, free parking.
Wow.
Then a new restaurant has opened up relatively recently, Chappie's. Chappie's is on Magazine Street. It's right next to Monkey Hill Bar, that's right there at Webster Street. And the food is delicious. You may have loved Chappie in one of his previous incarnations because he had a restaurant in New Orleans. He had a restaurant in Long Beach that was really beloved.
In Mississippi, huh?
Yeah, in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast that got washed away, and grilled shrimp, crab cakes. He's serving his famous trout Long Beach, which is a fried trout topped with shrimp, mushrooms, and crab meat and a cream sauce. And he's open 7 days a week for dinner every night and then for brunch on Sundays. But he's got a toast deal that I think is fantastic. 11 a.m. till adults $35, children 8 and under 15. Jambalaya, fried crawfish, gumbo, red beans and rice, collard greens, crawfish etouffee, hamburgers, hot dogs, fried eggplant medallions, salad, pastas, bread pudding, and open bar.
Whoa.
Okay, so the magic words, $35. And by the way, that Sunday brunch that's 3 courses is $15. So give Chappie's a try. It's really delicious traditional Creole food.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you so much. And we turn to Alfred. Talk about a lot of stuff going on in the movie. It's hard to keep up. Everywhere you go, there's a movie set.
Yeah, almost. There's the old saying, look on almost every corner and you see a sign for K&B. Well, you will see trucks and dealing with Hollywood trucks as well. Congratulations to everyone at Hollywood South, or Make Up Hollywood South. Recently, it has been determined that New Orleans and this region, Louisiana, is the #1 production out for movies and productions in this country. So Hollywood South is #1, and I guess you could call Los Angeles New Orleans West. So congratulations, everyone makes it possible. And talking about that, we have some programs that are really, films are upcoming. They're getting ready. They're in preparation. So 2015 looks like it's going to be an extraordinary year as well. The biggest one is a film I'm really excited about called The Free State of Jones. Now that is in pre-preparation. It started back on the 5th of January, and they will start shooting in March 2nd. But this cast is going to be phenomenal. Oscar winner Matthew McConaughey. Yes,
he's
back again. All right. He's back in New Orleans in this region. And the film is set against the Civil War and Reconstruction. He plays a Southern farmer who is against segregation, is against slavery, and he helps lead an uprising of people, and based on a true story, who succeeded from the Confederacy.
Really?
So this also is very strong work. Also in the film, Gugu Mbatha-Raw is also the second star in this film. So expect a lot of good things out of this. Could be Oscar potential down the road. A film that is being lensed and getting ready for preparation here, that's going to start on March 30th, is a film called The Long Night, and that's going to star Reese Presley and Natalie Morgan. And so there's going to be more about that as the days and weeks come about. Starting February 2nd on screening, or getting ready for preparation, When the Bow Breaks. And this is going to be a little thriller here. It's going to star Theo Rossi in the film, and you can see Theo Rossi here is brooding best. Also, Morris Chestnut will be making an appearance in this film, who I think will be appearing as me in the 6'10" Stomper movie, and Regina Hall also in this film. So expect a lot of good things out of that one here. And a film that is undergoing changes in titles. It's known as Don't Mess with Texas, but it was also previously known as Hot Pursuit. So it's going through a change. They're not quite sure what title it's going through. It's going through additional photography in this area right now. And some of the stars in that film are going to be Reese Witherspoon, who is doing a great job in just about everything. She was great in Wild and got an Oscar nomination for her work. Sofia Vergara, who is in the film, of course, and Robert Kaczynski. So expect some good things from Don't Mess with Texas or Hot Pursuit, whatever title they decide to give it. So let's go into films that are in production now and are going to start wrapping up. Biggest name, and this is what I consider a great title, Elvis and Nixon. Based on a true meeting between Elvis Presley and Richard Milhous Nixon. And they actually met. It's going to wrap on February 12th. And Elvis is going to be played, first of all, Kevin Spacey. Now, we all know Kevin Spacey from American Beauty and, of course, The House of Cards. He's going to be Richard Milhous Nixon in this film. And who will be taking on the role of Elvis? Michael Shannon. Now, we've seen him in Man of Steel and films. He will be Elvis.
Oh, Boardwalk Empire, too.
That's right, Boardwalk Empire. So expect a lot of him. And just recently, this is a bulletin, this just handed to me, 2 new actors have been added to this film's production. Sky Ferreira is joining the cast as a love interest in the film. And a guy who's not shy about being in Louisiana and New Orleans, Johnny Knoxville. He's back, yes, the character from all those other films and the series Jackass. He is going to be back here again. And a film that we talked about before is wrapping up its production on Groundhog Day. And it's not Groundhog Day 2, it's Daddy's Home. And that's the one that's going to star Mark Wahlberg. As Mark is, of course, no stranger to New Orleans and to he's actually done a great body of work. Linda Cardellini is also in this film. And you can tell it's not going to be too serious a film. Will Ferrell is here, and if I understand,
he's in town this week.
He's in town this week. He was doing some filming over at the Pelicans game. So, yeah, that's Will. So it's going to be a little comic actors there. Again, that's wrapping up on February 2nd. The film Geostorm, a science fiction thriller film, it's wrapping up on February 20th. It's going to star Gerard Butler. Now, we all remember Gerard Butler from films such as 300. He was King Leonidas and Phantom of the Opera as well. And it also is going to star Catherine Winnick in this role. She plays an interest on the space station with Gerard Butler. It also adds 2 other actors as well. Always good. Ed Harris. Ed Harris, always good in this. And Andy Garcia comes on board as well. So that too is expecting
former Bacchus.
Former Bacchus, so expect them popping around New Orleans. And as I mentioned, these are just some of the movies that are going on. There are a countless number of television series and such that are being made. But the biggest one and the biggest news comes from CBS, the program NCIS New Orleans, which has not had one gumbo party in the entire season. It's wrapping up this season on April 30th, but the good news is CBS has greenlighted it for a second season. So we're going to see actors such as Scott Bakula back again in NCIS New Orleans, and one of my favorite people, CCH Pounder, who of course was great in The Shield. She's great in just about anything else, and she is back as she's wonderful. I think it's the coroner in the film, in the series NCIS New Orleans. So again, hooray! What can we say? Hooray for New Orleans!
That's right. Hooray for New Orleans!
That's it. Thanks, got it.
Gotcha. That's it.
Is that okay?
That is perfect.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring 2 pieces of art. The first is Zulu Warrior by photographer Ellis Lucia. A New Orleans native, Lucia has over 30 years of experience as a Times-Picayune staff photographer, and he has worked both nationally and internationally too. The second artwork is titled Feeling the Music by Sharon Weilbacher. Originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas, Weilbacher has been a New Orleans resident for almost 50 years. She received her BFA from the University of Colorado in Boulder and her MA in medical illustration from Johns Hopkins Medical School in Baltimore. Both artists are included in Carnival, a group invitational exhibit, and that's at the Garden District Gallery, opening tomorrow evening with a reception. The show runs through February 22nd. Visit the Garden District Gallery website for more information. And you can visit WYES.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, and also link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program. And now we're really thrilled because Augustin's with us, and I know you've had a busy time sort of reinterpreting Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's right. Well, if you go to Le Petit Theatre this weekend or next weekend, what you're going to see is a very new production of Jesus Christ Superstar. We're billing it as Not Your Mama's Jesus Christ Superstar. So what you won't be seeing is sandals, dusty roads, robes, and the traditional temple. What you will, however, see is a lot of fantastic actors. You'll hear great music. Everything we've kept exactly the same, but what we have changed is the setting. We've updated it thoroughly, as you can see here.
Kind of a little punk rock.
There is punk rock, yes, absolutely. And not just punk rock. It's got a fusion of gospel. It's got a fusion of hard rock, heavy metal, and a little bit of science fiction thrown in there as well. The idea is to pose the question, not what happened to Jesus 2,000 years ago, but if Jesus came back, or someone who claimed to be Jesus 5 years from now, would you be one of the people on the street saying, right on, Jesus, this message speaks to me, you know, I need something? Or would you be one of the priests saying, this Jesus guy's got to go, he's stirring up too much of a mess?
Well, before we go to an excerpt, though, tell us about yourself. Originally from Mississippi, then what, New York, and now here?
Right, in a very roundabout way. I wanted to move down to New Orleans years ago, but then I got, as they say, bit, or I discovered New York and fell in love with it. But it was a short and rocky relationship because I was always meant to be here in New Orleans, and so I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Originally from Greenville, Mississippi, and took that roundabout path in New York, spent some time in Virginia, Pennsylvania, but really getting the chops together so that I could bring the best possible shows and the best possible productions to New Orleans.
Now we're thrilled because we have some of the actors from the cast in our studio, and who are we going to hear first?
Tonight, today we'll be listening to Elise McDaniel singing I Don't Know How to Love Him, which is a chart-topping hit back from 1971, and she will give us her beautiful a cappella rendition of that.
All right, let's take a look.
I don't know how to love him. What to do, how to move him. I've been changed. Yes, really changed. In these past few days, when I've seen myself, I seem like someone else. I don't know how to take this. I don't see why he moves me. He's a man. He's just a man. And I've had so many men before, in very many ways. He's just one more. Should I bring him down? Should I scream and shout? Should I speak of love? Let my feelings out? I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about? Don't you think it's rather funny? I should be in this position. I'm the one who's always been so calm, so cool, no lover's fool, running every show. He scares me so. I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about? Yet, if he said he loved me, I'd be lost, I'd be frightened. I couldn't cope, just couldn't cope. I'd turn my head, I'd back away. I wouldn't want to know. He scares me so. I want him so. I love him so.
Thank you so much, Elise. And just a reminder that Jesus Christ Superstar continues until January 30th at Petit Theatre. Oh, and we'll hear a little bit more later. New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Ronald Specht gave us the names of two of the three kings, Melchior, Casper, or Balthazar. And now, tonight's question. This local Mardi Gras song's first lines are, "The green room is smoking and the plaza's burning down." Name the song and the singer. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a Louisiana Life magazine subscription, the book Mardi Gras Chronicles of the New Orleans Carnival by our own Errol Laborde and published by Pelican. Well, that's a great prize, too. A gift certificate for it, too, courtesy of Vianne's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight we have a pair of Mardi Gras pajama pants as worn by WYES staffer Steve Golombieski with the message, "Throw me something, misters, kings and queens," and all kinds of other festive phrases of the season from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And now it's time for Mr. Allen.
Well, before I get started, I will just going to say that the review for next week will be for Jesus Christ Superstar. We're not going to review it this week, but I am going to give it a very positive review. So, no surprise there. The question, I guess, has to be asked, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, is it a fish? Well, that's the big question. question, because the play that is actually being presented right now at the Old Marquee, the former Shadow Box, asked that very question. And in question that really may not be ever answered. After watching your Lithopedian last Sunday, I'm really not sure. On the surface, it seems like a dark comedy, but there's so much more beneath the surface. The two stars, of course, are Rebecca Hollingsworth and Glenn Oquan, and they do a very good job of carrying off the role of a wife and a serial killer who forms his own, if you will, 12-step program to alleviate himself of the boredom of being a serial killer. It's a very involved work. I have to say that it's not necessarily easily able to be explained. Playwright Justin Maxwell says that essentially he's trying to use that word lithopedian as a word that not anybody knows what it is. Well, what it is a stone baby, if you know what that medical term is about, a baby that doesn't actually come to term. But he's using it also as a device to essentially mean something that nobody knows what the meaning is. Therefore, the character of the serial killer takes on that name for himself. He is Mr. Lithopedian, if you will. And of course, his wife goes through many, many stages of pregnancy that you see throughout the whole affair. It's a very involved work. Again, I think I probably need to see it a couple more times before I can tell you whether or not I truly understood it, and I don't think I'd even understand it then. But it's a trap. It's essentially a specific trap designed to destabilize the audience and also designed to get you to think about certain aspects of the work. So I would tell you that if you want to see a work that will make you think and maybe scratch your head a couple of times, Your Lithopedian, playing at the Aube Marquee, the former Shadow Box, is going to be on tap for a couple more weeks. And again, something I think worth watching. Rebecca Hollingsworth and Glenn Oquan do a really good job. Also, one of the other things that I really enjoyed about it, a lot of 80s music. They set up each scene with 80s music. And even, yes, of course, the famous Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads. So there you go. I just mentioned that's actually on tap right now. Moving on, something else that I really have to tell you about, and it's one of the great works, Lady of the Camellia, which of course was used as the basis for Violetta Valerie and La Traviata, and of course the very famous plays. Well, Camille, being done by Charles Ludlam, of course. Yes, cross-dressing A.J. Allegra there in the middle with Sam Dudley and Ricky Graham, along the other stars, Keith Clavery and Sean Patterson. This is directed by Varla Jean Merman. It should be outstanding, and I understand not yet for publication, but there's a possibility that Gone with a Breaking Wind, that's been doing great box office at the Mid-City Theater, may indeed be extended, but nothing official on that yet, but keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one as well. Now, meanwhile, I should tell you that another successful run is being had at Rivertown Theater's Performing Arts, and that is the Will Rogers Follies. Again, I did say it was the best Will Rogers Follies I'd ever seen, including the run that we had here locally. It is a fantastic show, and again, I would say that right now it's probably the best game in town. Excuse me, I have to mention that to the director here of the other show that's here, but the Will Rogers Follies has actually added an additional performance. So if you're missing it, you can see it again. They've added that extra performance, okay? Now, one other item coming up later in the season, Le Petit is going to be doing the wonderful Stephen Sondheim musical Merrily We Roll Along. It's going to be directed by Tom Chafikji. Of course, those of you who are interested in auditioning for this, they're going to ask you to bring two songs. One, of course, from Merrily We Roll Along, and another from Stephen Sondheim, so that you're actually going to perform two Stephen Sondheim shows. But the auditions are going to be held Monday the 9th of February and Tuesday the 10th of February. I should also hasten to point out that the run of Merrily We Roll Along here in New Orleans will be actually longer than the run was on Broadway. So keep that in mind.
I love that show.
I know, but it just didn't make it for several reasons. Also, in Jefferson Parish, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the opening of the Jefferson Parish Performing Arts Auditorium, if you will. And I did get a chance to talk with Dennis Asaf. He said, unfortunately, he misspoke. He had thought he had talked to the people in Jefferson Parish, and they had said they were comfortable with the date of them opening, but unfortunately they're not that comfortable right now, and they're going to extend the opening of that for some time to be determined in February as to when it's going to be. But I will say this, Les Miserables, which was going to be directed by Butch Care, is on hold, and essentially it's being, I don't want to say canceled, but it's being put on hold for the time until they can find a time when the auditorium will be open for them. But again, it is a shame because it's ready to go. It It really is. But just, one of those things we have to get the politicians in order here and get them all to agree.
All right, now,
Right.
thank you. And now it's time for our picks. Alfred.
I think it's time to show once more that this looks like a job for a 610 Stomper. Tonight at the 610 Stomper Sweet 610 Debutante Ball, we will be debuting our new moves for the 2014-2015 season. It's going to be held at Mardi Gras World Inn. We're going to have all kinds of fun, all kinds of dancing, and of course, you can go to 610stompers.com to get more information, but tickets are going quick. Get over and get into your superhero or 80s outfit so the 80s music works.
Alfred, thank you. Poppy.
Did you notice we didn't say king cake once yet during this show?
We're decorating. We are decorating.
Well, I'm going to say it. The annual King Cake Festival being put on by Oshner's benefiting babies and children this Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Champion Square. 10 tasting tickets for $10.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
That's a deal. Okay. Now we're going to hear a little bit more. Augustin, who are we going to hear from in just
This
a few
time
minutes?
we'll hear again from Elise McDaniel as Mary Magdalene. We will also hear Hebert Benjamin, Gwen Mahan, and Whitney Mixon from our ensemble.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Alan.
And finally, one of the playwrights who's going to be here for the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival, John Patrick Shanley, he has a play that's on the boards right now, Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. It's at Cafe Istanbul, and you might want to check that out through January the 24th.
All right, thank you. And now my picks. Gina Ware in Mid-City will be open tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. featuring Mardi Gras costumes and festive wear. And you can search Gina Ware on Facebook for more details and hours that she'll be open. Loyola presents Sir Angelica and Gianni Cicci, two of the three acts from Puccini's Il Trittico. That's Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Roussel Performance Hall on St. Charles Avenue. And you can visit montageloino.edu for tickets. Don't forget that Prospect 3 Public Art Festival continues through this weekend at galleries and museums citywide. Also a reminder that Louisiana State Museum's Carnival collection, they are opening up their storage facility on Chartis, and it will be opened for an exclusive behind-the-scenes viewing on January 27th and 29th. At 6 and 7 p.m. And finally, tickets are still available, just a few, for an afternoon tea with WYES inspired by Downton Abbey. That's next Thursday afternoon. You can visit WYES.org to purchase your tickets. And now, though, we leave you with more from the cast members of Jesus Christ Superstar. Good night.
Try not to get worried, try not to turn on to problems that upset you. Oh, don't you know everything's alright? Yes, everything's fine, and we want you to sleep well tonight. Let the world turn without you tonight. If we try, we'll get by, so forget all about us tonight.
Everything's alright, yes, everything's alright, yes.
Sleep and I shall soothe you, calm you and anoint you, myrrh for your hot forehead. Oh, then you'll feel everything's alright, yes, everything's fine, and it's cool and the ointment's sweet. For the fire in your head and feet. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight.
Everything's alright, yes, everything's alright, yes.
Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.